The only party where 20 million people showed up, and nobody had a good time. And get this, it all started because one guy took a wrong turn. Yep, a war that rewrote the world map kicked off thanks to bad directions. Google Maps wasn't around yet, obviously. So, June 28, 1914, Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, shows up with his wife, Sophie. It was supposed to be a PR parade, smiles, flags, photo ops. Except lurking in the crowd were Serbian nationalists from young Bosnia, who had apparently confused an assassination with a group project. Bombs, pistols, cyanide. They had the whole discount terrorist starter pack. The first guy chucks a bomb. It bounces off the Archduke's car and blows up the one behind him. 10 out of 10 for effort, 0 out of 10 for accuracy. The Archduke insists on continuing the parade, because, you know, nothing screams of safety like nearly being blown up. Then later, the driver takes a wrong turn, stalls the car right in front of Gavrilo Princip, who'd basically given up and gone to buy a sandwich. Princip's like, well, if history insists, pulls out his pistol, and boom, 2 shots. Franz and Sophie are dead. The what-ifs here are endless, but history doesn't care about what-ifs. It cares about body counts. Austria-Hungary is furious. They draft an ultimatum to Serbia that was basically, here, sign this paper admitting you're evil, hand over your dignity, and oh, by the way, let us run your country. Serbia's like, we'll do most of that, but not everything. Austria's like, close enough? Nah, time to mobilize. Now, Austria could have just fought Serbia, but nope, enter Germany, giving Austria a blank check, basically saying, do whatever you want, buddy, we got your back. Russia, Serbia's big Slavic bro, is like, not on my watch. Germany declares war on Russia. France is tied to Russia, so they jump in. Germany marches through Belgium to get to France, which makes Britain say, excuse me, we actually like Belgium waffles. War it is. And just like that, the family argument turns into Thanksgiving dinner with nukes. Wait, not nukes yet. That's part 2. Suddenly, millions of soldiers are stuck in trenches from the North Sea to Switzerland. Picture it. Endless mud, rats the size of cats, lice parties, and the constant soundtrack of artillery. Soldiers rotated between trying not to die and writing poetry about how depressing it was to try not to die. And the weapons? Chef's kiss, if your chef hates you. Machine guns mowing down waves of men, poison gas that made you cough up your lungs, and barbed wire that turned every charge into a suicide run. Oh, and tanks make their debut. But early tanks broke down so much they were basically armored lawnmowers. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire joins the party. Because why not? Suddenly, it's not just Europe, it's a world war. The Middle East gets carved up. Gallipoli becomes a disaster for the Allies, and the British are promising Arabs independence they never actually planned to give. In Africa and Asia, colonies are dragged in like unpaid interns. Japan's like, oh cool, Germany has colonies in the Pacific? Ours now. The US? They're over there across the ocean selling weapons and pretending they're neutral. Spoiler, not for long. So, by 1917, Germany's doing unrestricted submarine warfare, basically sinking any ship that floats. Then comes the Zimmermann telegram, where Germany's like, hey Mexico, wanna invade the US with us? Spoiler. Mexico said no, but the US said, excuse me, and jumped into the war. America's industrial power, fresh troops, and endless supplies tip the scales. Germany realizes it can't keep up. Soldiers are exhausted, starving, and revolutions are brewing back home. 1918. Germany finally cracks. The Kaiser abdicates, and an armistice is signed on November 11th at 11 a.m., cue silence after 4 years of global carnage. But here's the kicker. The peace treaty, the Treaty of Versailles, doesn't actually fix anything. It humiliates Germany, redraws borders badly, and plants all the seeds for, you guessed it, World War II. Basically, they pressed pause, not stop. So World War I, the war to end all wars. That didn't actually end wars. Millions dead, empires gone. The world forever changed, all because one driver couldn't follow directions. If you thought this was insane, wait until you see what happens next, because in our next video, we're diving into World War II, where the sequel makes the original look like a rehearsal. Hit subscribe because trust me, you don't want to miss this one.